Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you so much for joining in. We'll quickly start. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chaksharam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So last time we had completed till almost you can say the 8th shloka, where Krishna exactly says that Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena, by only steady practice, you will be able to remember me. And now from the 9th shloka, where Krishna, let me share the screen first with you so that it's a little more clearer. Yeah. This is he who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he's sure to reach me. So Krishna is giving this assurance that he's sure to reach. And now from the text 9, give me a minute. There is some voice problem with this. Yeah. So what is he saying is that because if you see, we started with the Supreme Lord answering Arjuna's questions. Arjuna asks about Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, Adideva, Adi Yagna, and Prayan Kala. And there he's saying that Krishna is answering these questions from shloka number 1 to shloka number 4. And then because Brahma refers to the living entity, and Parabrahma is actually referring to the Supreme Lord. So there both are not the same, because though the word Brahma is also sometimes referred to for the Supreme Lord, but both are not the same, because it is according to the context of the shloka. And then from the 5th shloka to the 8th shloka, he is talking about remembering Krishna at the time of death. So we saw, the shlokas, Antakalichas Mamevam Swaran Muktva Yam Yam Vapi Swaranam, and Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, therefore, you should remember me at all times and think of me while doing your prescribed duty. And then how you can attain Krishna by remembering him. So we have to practice to meditate, and we have to practice consciously about Krishna. everywhere we should see how we are able to connect our lives to Krishna. Like just recently, one of my students, she had been to Kashmir. Okay, she is like, very small, cute, sixth grade student, but a very Krishna conscious child. So when she had gone to Kashmir, so she was seeing the Himalayas and the mountains and all. So then she's remembering Govardhan over there. Like, so she's thinking that, oh, mommy, Govardhan is also like this only, very huge. And we have been to Govardhan also. And then she's seeing the rocks over there and she's seeing the rivers. She's remembering Yamuna over there. So children pick up very fast. So this is how even when you move out in the nature or when, this is what her mother was actually telling me, that when she was drinking water also, she is always saying, Mummy, Krishna says, I am the taste in water. So every time we can find out ways of remembering Krishna. Now from the 9th shloka, Krishna says that how can you remember Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti? There are 9 ways of remembering Krishna. Okay, Yoga Mishra. So he says that Kavim Purnam Kavim Purnam Manu Shasitar Manorina Amsa Anusmaredyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastataha. So he says that one should meditate upon the Supreme Lord as the one who knows everything. He's saying Kavim. Now, Kavim is the one who knows everything, right? And then he's saying that he is as he who is the oldest, Purnam. And Purna means the oldest. And then who is the controller also. And the controller is Anushasitaram. Okay. And then who is Ano also? Ano Aniyamsha. Who is actually even smaller than the smallest, just like a small atom. And then he's saying that who is the maintainer of everything. So, though he is the maintainer of Sarvasya Dhataram, over here, he is maintaining everything and he is inconceivable, Achintya. Now, if you see in Krishna book, there are so many pastimes of Krishna which are really inconceivable. At least if you see the Damodar Leela in itself is also very inconceivable. And his form is Rupam. His form is very beautiful form. His personal form is very beautiful, which even every living entity is attracted to that beautiful form. And he's saying that his Aditya Varnam, he is luminous like the sun. Sun's, if you see another synonym for the sun is Aditya. So he's luminous like the sun. And he is Tamasa Parastata. He is transcendental and beyond this material nature, because this material nature is full of ignorance. And that is why he is transcendental to the material nature. So these are some of the 9, ways of remembering Krishna. That even actually, if we just go and stand in front of the Supreme Lord and say, "Oh Krishna, you are, omniscient and you are Purnam. You are the controller of everything. You are smaller than the smallest, and you're the maintainer of everything, and you're so inconceivable. We cannot really conceive most of your pastimes and all. You're so beautiful. Your form is so beautiful." So these are some of the 9 ways of remembering Krishna. So, if you see that various transcendentalists, uh, what they do is that, so for example, based on Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport in the Bhagavad Gita, what is the destination of different people he is talking about? And there are different kinds of bhakti, like there are only Keval Bhaktas, or we had discussed there are Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas, or there are Guni Bhuta Bhaktas. Okay. So then you have Jnana Yoga Bhaktas, and to so uh, and when you say only Kevala Bhakta, so one is moving. So when I say Keval Bhakta means, Rupa Goswami gives the definition of Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmanavritam Anukulyana Krishna Anushilam Bhakti Uttama. So this is actually Uttam Bhakti. Uttam Bhakti is what only Keval Bhakti, where Bhakti is primary and karma is secondary. So one is moving to Kevala Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti, gradually from, from the lower stage to the higher stage. And when, uh, like in the lower stage, it's like the Guni Bhuta or Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. So when there is Mishra Bhakti means what? The nature of Mishra Bhakti is that it is contaminated with some yoga or gyan or karma, or there might be some other parts also of transcendence. So when one has some inclination towards some of the gyan or karma or a particular guna also, so that is uh, you know uh, yoga Mishra Bhakti. And then if you see, there is the process of bhakti, then there will be, if the bhakti is very strong, then it is pradhani bhuta bhakti. But there is a large quantity of gyan and karma guna, then it is called guni bhuta bhakti. So uh, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that there will be different destinations for different yogis, and what is the destination they'll be attending. So like if you say only for Keval Bhaktas, then Golok Vrindavan is the final destination, because Golok Vrindavan with Prema. So they develop actually Prema, and those who develop Prema over here for the Supreme Lord, then they attain Golok Vrindavan. And those who are Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, which means what? Bhakti is Pradhanya, but it is, with some mixed of karma, gyan or something. So 50% you can say, more than 50% bhakti is there. Then they will attain Vaikuntha, the Shantaras or such. And if Guni Bhuta Bhaktas, in Guni Bhuta Bhakti is, secondary, and Gyan is, more prominent. So then they enter into the Brahma Jyoti. And Gyan Yoga, and who are those people? Those who are practicing Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Karma Yoga. So, and in Brahma Jyoti, after they add Bhakti in their sadhana, then there is some, possibility for them. So, here we are talking about transition even at the end of the spiritual journey before liberation. So if they are Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas, that means that they continue their attachment to yoga and gyan. Then because of the presence of other things, they go to Vaikuntha. And Guni Bhuta Bhaktas, they will go to Brahma Jyoti. That means that if the paths are, uh, disproportionately high, then the personal conception is not what they are actually focusing on. That is why they will attain an impersonal conception. So if you see on the other hand, for those people who are practicing bhakti at all, they are, practicing Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga, then even though these paths, they can ultimately attain perfection, because inside Bhakti Yoga only, this Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga, everything is actually included. And when they will attain Brahma Jyoti, then they will add bhakti in their sadhana, because as I mentioned previously also, that without bhakti, uh, uh, without bhakti, their sadhana, or without bhakti, no other, you can say, process can give result. Bhakti has to be included in every process. Bhakti is the essential, but the proportion of bhakti will vary among different seekers, and depending on the proportion of the bhakti, the destination also will vary. So, when we are talking about over here, we are talking about Yoga Mishra Bhaktas, those who are practicing Ashtanga Yoga, and they are incorporating that bhakti element also in it. So, Krishna has talked about how to incorporate bhakti element, even in the 6th chapter, if you see. Okay, he has talked about when he says that. You should fix your mind upon me, right? He said in the 14th shloka, he says that प्रसन्नात्मा विगतभि ब्रह्मचारी वर्तते स्थित मन संयम्य मच्चित्तो युक्त आसित मत्परः. So he says that when this yogi will fix his mind upon me, and so Krishna has talked about how this yogi should go in the jungle, he should go to the secluded place and sit in a very straight position. And then, after making his mind very peaceful, and, where he's saying that, mana samyamya mat chitto, he's saying that. So, he's saying that bringing the mind under the control and fixing mat chit, apna consciousness jo hai mere pe fix karo, fix the consciousness on me. And then he's saying yukta asit mat parah, he's saying that in this way, what will you do is that you'll become devoted to me. So Krishna will talk about, many, the same conception very elaborately, that how will the yogi fix his mind on Krishna. And we have to understand one important point, that though the yogis may fix their mind on Krishna, Krishna will be their object of meditation. But Krishna will not be the objective of their meditation. He will be the object, but he will not be the objective. So, see, when you say object of meditation and objective, what does it mean? Object means that these yogis, they are thinking about, objective means what? They are wishing to achieve something. So, Krishna should not be the object, but objective also for us. So, when Krishna is both, then we will attain perfection. So, he is my object also, and he is my objective also. And so these yogis that are there, who are actually seekers of other path, for them, they may also fix their mind on Krishna, but unka uddesh, objective means their uddesh, or their objective is something else. So Krishna is a tool of meditation, and after that, again, we have to ultimately meditate only on the Supreme Lord, or we will ultimately, otherwise, if we will not meditate on the Supreme Lord, then what will happen? We will attain impersonal Brahman. So those who think like this, they are, very much mistaken. They deprive themselves with the, final result, that for me, the object and the objective has to be only Krishna. For me, I have to selflessly only serve Krishna. My main goal of life is to serve Krishna, Guru, and the Vaishnavas. That should be my objective, my ultimate goal of life. And my object will also be Krishna only. My object will not be something else other than Krishna. So, uh, if you see that they even if they're getting association of devotees, and if they're fortunate enough, so for example, somebody is actually going towards Brahmajyoti, but fortunately they get association of devotees. So uh, then they will understand that, okay, uh, my object and objective has to be one only. This is the, what you say, hope for them as such. So here Krishna is talking about those who are having Krishna as the object right now. So if they will get the association, then they will be fortunate enough to actually get the object also and objective also. And then they may think that, yes, Krishna is the object of my meditation, so that I can ultimately attain this Brahman. And so this they are thinking in a very offensive way. If they deride that form of Krishna, because see what happens is, uh, mm, we can say sadhan and sadhya, which I always give an example. Okay, कि मेरा साधन भी और साध्य भी. Okay, so if you see in the spiritual world and in the material world, so for us currently the sadhan and the sadhya are one only. Here also we have to do the same thing, and there also when we go we have to do the same thing. Over here also we are doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and after going to the spiritual world also we have to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam only. In fact, in the spiritual world, the existence of the Brajavasis is only for Krishna. For them, day in and day out, they are thinking that how will I please Krishna? What will I do that will please Krishna? And uh, while sleeping, waking up, doing any activity, they are only thinking about Krishna. 24/7 they are in, Krishna's consciousness. Now what will I do? What to speak about the Brajavasis? In fact, even the trees, the flowers, the rivers, the dust, everybody has consciousness over there, and they are also thinking that how will I serve Krishna? What will I do that which will please Krishna's senses? What will I do that Krishna will be ultimately pleased, because my existence is only to please Krishna. The day I don't please Krishna, I feel I should just go and jump in some river or well and, commit suicide. This is their attitude. Now, means, I mean, even I have to, means I'm actually checking myself also on a daily basis that what am I doing for Krishna? In that way, though, I have to actually, commit suicide millions of times, because every moment we are not thinking about Krishna at all. Maybe some part of the day we are thinking about Krishna, but not all the time, or all those seconds that are there in the day. We are not thinking about Krishna. So actually, if you see, Krishna is setting a standard over here. And what is that standard? You remember me every second. Every second to second, you remember me. So, this is what actually is been said in this particular shloka. And if you see that this meditation that is there on Krishna in different ways, he's saying that this meditation is only going to help me, attain Krishna finally. Now we have to actually decide that how we means, maybe you can journal it out or write it down, that what are the different ways I can remember Krishna on a daily basis. Because see, every person has his own prescribed duties. Somebody might be a father, a mother, a grandfather, or a grandparent or a sister or a brother. So we can just write it down. In what ways can I actually, daily basis I can, other than chanting and reading Shastras, what else I can do to please Krishna? So let's go to the next shloka. And in the next shloka, he's going to speak about the Sat Chakra Yoga. I'm sorry. He says over here that प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणम् आवेश्य सम्यक् सतं परम पुरुषं मुपेति दिव्यम. So he says over here that one who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engage himself in remembering the Supreme in full devotion, will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's saying over here that uh, Pranaya Kalena, at the time of death, Manaschalena. Mana means what? Mana means actually our mind. Okay. And Achalena. Achal means, one who is keeping the mind fixed, or he's keeping the mind steady. And Krishna has talked about, and Arjuna also has said earlier in the mind that, okay, the mind is very chanchal. And Arjuna is actually speaking twice in the 6th chapter that, that my mind is very flickering, my mind is not very steady. And here he's saying that pranaya kalena manasa achalena. Make the mind achal. And how will that mind become achal? कैसे वो steady बनेगा? He's saying in the next this that bhaktya yukta yoga balena. He's saying that with bhakti and by the strength of the yoga. So yoga balena chaiva. Yoga balena chaiva means so with bhakti and by the strength of yoga. So because why he's saying that yoga bal is actually required, because one cannot make the mind steady without the connection. Yoga means connection actually, right? So one has to actually practice very systematically, and he has to be determined to practice sincerely. So yoga balena, he is saying that. So when we have lifelong practice of this yoga, you chanting every day, then the mind will become steady. Aap dekhna, in any practice, if you see, you practice it on a daily basis, you're fixed. Your hypothalamus, or the what is that part called? It goes into a default mode. There are three parts, no, of the nervous system. There is one more, I think the pituitary gland or something like that it is, where it enters into your this, and then you never forget. For example, you learn two-wheeler, you learn driving four-wheeler. Now it is fixed, you know how to do it. So that becomes your default mode. Or anything that you have practiced, then that enters into the back of your head, and then you do it, that becomes your default mode. So the mind is very chanchal. It will definitely go here and there. But ultimately, we have to make the mind steady, and that will happen only by yoga. So because many times people think that, okay, people think that, okay, let me do meditation because, मैं बहुत hard work करता हूँ, मुझे बहुत stress है, तो मुझे meditation करना है. Oh, because, I have a lot of work to do. I've got my job, I've got my family, then I have my wife and I have my husband and so many responsibilities, so many obligations. And, I just want to do meditation for relaxation. So he takes a break. But when you come to temple and you see devotees, chanting very aggressively or, they are struggling, then you're thinking, then you think that, are we relaxing? Because everybody is struggling for chanting in the temple. And we think we become very disturbed. Yeah, sorry. The other person becomes very disturbed. Then he's telling that meditation means relaxation. Ekdam shant bhav se, relax. But over here, everybody is disturbed in the name of relaxation over here. And when we are chanting, we feel that this chanting is giving me a lot of relaxation. So, see, we have to understand that bhakti will definitely give relaxation, but it will give relaxation only after sufficient amount of purification and pacification. Pacification of the mind. Mind go up, because purification means what? The mind will become peaceful. And how the mind will become peaceful? When it becomes purified. When uh, what is agitating the mind? The agitation of the mind is lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion. And so when these will go away, then the mind will become peaceful. It will become very steady. It will become achala. The mind becomes chanchil because of lust, greed, anger, pride, and all this. And by the practice of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, what we are doing is we're making the mind purified and then it will become peaceful. So see, I always say that pranayam है ना आपके मन को शांत करेगा. It will make your mind cool and calm, but it will not purify. Only the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra will purify your mind of lust, greed, pride, and anger. So, uh, we cannot expect the mind to be pacified without being purified. That sort of pacification will not last for a long time. uh, you know, uh, last for long. So, for steady purification, we need to apply ourselves for purification also. Sorry, pacification ke liye purification is actually required, and we should not uh, approach our approach chanting. Sometimes we approach our chanting and chalo, let me take a break from my hard work. No, actually, controlling the mind and purifying the mind is definitely hard work. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये भी hard work नहीं है. So it is the hard work of the mind internally. It's not physical activity. It's a mental activity. And the more we expect meditation to be a break from our hard work, the more meditation will become hard work. So, why? Because our expectation will only frustrate us. When you expect, you get frustrated. And, you might say that, yeah, I wanted to meditate and relax, but I am not able to relax with this, with this relaxed attitude. If I go, we will not be, able to even endeavor to fix our mind on Krishna. And if I don't endeavor to fix the mind on Krishna, then I don't experience anything sublime. My meditation will not lead me to any spiritual experience. I cannot connect with Krishna. I cannot contact Krishna. And when I cannot contact Krishna, then I can't relish Krishna consciousness. So that is why meditation actually will only regenerate us. It rebuilds us internally. It strengthens us spiritually. It cleanses us emotionally also. But all this is happening when we experience Krishna. But when we are not concentrating the mind, we cannot experience Krishna. Then meditation will be very boredom for us. It starts feeling like, burden. Why am I chanting? Nothing is happening. From so many years I've been chanting. I'm uttering, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the sound, and it is becoming even more hard work for me. So the more we expect, I'm sorry, today is not a meditation class, but the shloka in itself is actually about, fixing the mind on Krishna. This is not a chanting class, but Krishna is actually helping us out that how will we improve our chanting? At least I will improve my chanting. So, uh, 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 the more we are expecting that, my meditation, I'll take a break and all, it will become more challenging for us. And, uh, uh, mm, and it is going to be a very hard work for us. But if you see in the long run, when we are consciously struggling with our chanting of pleasing Krishna, the pleasing the spiritual master, or pleasing the parampara gurus, then what happens is that the result is going to be very wonderful. The mind will become pure, and the mind will become very peaceful, and that is what we want. So let us apply our self, है ना? Apply myself, uh, apply myself in full devotion, completely engaged, yoga balena. Na? So let my mind become very steady, achalena, in Krishna. And that is why Prabhupada, if you see in the pulpit also is writing that one will not be able to fix the mind on Krishna just by chance. We have to practice yoga bal, spiritual strength. If you see, this yoga bal kahan se milta hai na? We have Lord Balaram. When you pray to Lord Balaram, he gives the spiritual strength he will give you. So, uh, and if you see that different yogis also, they practice yoga bala on different ways of controlling their mind and all. But somehow the other person has to, in any yoga, Ashtang Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and he has to focus, he has to practice controlling his mind, and has to practice some kind of yoga where he can steady his mind. And if you see, Krishna will tell that how from Gyan Yoga to Dhyan Yoga to Ashtanga Yoga and all, why only Bhakti Yoga is the best. So here he is saying that Yoga Balam, because by the practice of yoga, and then Bhaktya Yukta he is saying. Okay. So Krishna is talking about Ashtanga Yoga, who's, trying to attain this perfection, who's trying to cultivate this strong remembrance of Krishna. So we have to see that in the seventh shloka, Krishna is saying that Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhasar. You always remember me and you do your prescribed duties. And now, how can one remember Krishna? So he is giving two pathways. One is the path of Ashtanga Yoga, and one is the path of Yoga Mishra. Sorry, one Ashtanga Yoga, which is Yoga Mishra Bhakta, Yoga Mishra, and then one he is giving the Shuddha Bhakti. आपके पास दो पाथ है, या तो आप अष्टांग योगा जो है उसकी तरफ जाइए, या तो फिर शुद्ध भक्ति जो केवल भक्ति की तरफ जाएगा. There are two paths. So here he is telling that even the Ashtang yogis, the yogi who has done practice of yoga, eventually has to use Bhaktya Yukto. He has to be engaged completely. He has to include bhakti into his Ashtanga yoga only, then only he will get the result. Without bhakti, if he does not include bhakti, he will not get the result. And he has to fix the mind over there on the absolute truth. And without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, the absolute truth, uh, these these uh, these limbs of Ashtanga yoga, which you can say, they will not give him, that full surrender towards the Supreme Lord. because he is meditating on the Paramatma form of the Lord. So, so when bhakti yukto, then bhaktya yukto means what? One is requiring bhakti. One requires bhakti, and then when when one requires bhakti, then he's saying that bhuvar madhye pranam avesha samay. Then once one gets prana, and then when he's situating between the two eyebrows, madhya means the space between the eyebrows. So one gets the prana to rise or raise, and one gets the prana within the bhurva. And again, Krishna is saying that, see, Krishna again is referring himself as the third person. He's not saying directly me. So he's saying that that person will attain, he will attain divyata. He will attain param purusham divyam, which even previously also he had said, right? And then this yogi will attain the ultimate destination of that Supreme Lord. So he is saying that, and there are various, if you see, uh, charas, like in Ashtanga Yoga also, if you see, there are little of technicalities with Ashtanga Yoga. And I'm not going to go into Ashtanga Yoga at all, because our aim is actually Bhakti Yoga. So we will speak only about Bhakti Yoga, because our object and objective is only Krishna. And but most of you all know what is Ashtanga Yoga. So there are different, charas also in the body. So actually, uh, uh, these lotus in this in fig, it represents this what do you say, location of this chakra. So what the chakra, what this chakra is exactly, actually the prana is situated at a particular place in the body. And we know that the prana is there in one of the parts of the body. And now this prana vayu, it has a particular center also. And if you say there are 5 prana vayus, pran, apam, saman, udan, vayan, and there is and their center has a particular, there is a particular center in the body, and it is called that location of the pran. Okay, somebody might have pran over here, somebody might have pran over here, somebody had pran over here. Okay, so pran may be there with somebody at the lower part of the body, somebody might have it at the upper part of the body. And in this way, when you analyze this path, if the lower is the location of pran, it is considered in a lower consciousness. If you see, sometimes people leave their body from the lower part of the body, like when they are close to death, then they urinate or they pass stool. So then that is a lower consciousness, and then there is the consciousness level is lesser, and then the spiritual elevation also is very less. And then if you're taking your prana upwards, when you're practicing yoga or Ashtanga yoga, then you're pulling that prana from the lower body to the upper body, right till actually here, or to the Brahmarandhra part also. That is actually the practice of Ashtanga yoga. And then this yogi, he becomes elevated, and then it is said that when the pran is in the lower part of the body, when the person dies, the soul wants to exit. So whichever hole is closer, the soul will go out of that. And the soul goes out from the lower hole, it is saying that it goes to the lower destination. Lower destination means lower planetary systems. Okay. And if the soul comes out from the higher holes, from the eyes, from the ears, or from this Brahmarandhra. We have one more ear also, Brahmarandhra. Okay. So then the pran is going upwards. It is providing a facility for the soul to come out from the upper holes, and the upper holes exact and that is the exact relationship between the pranavayu and the soul, because see, the soul is subtle, right? And because it is very subtle, then it has to come out from some way, right? So it has to have some path which it needs to come out from. So that's how either it will come out from the nose or the ears or the eyes. Some people, they just keep their eyes open, or then, the yogis from the Brahmarandra or from the breathing, right? That's how different yogis, they actually quit their bodies in different ways. And that's what Krishna is actually telling over here, that you actually fix your mind on me. When you fix your mind on me, then at the time of death also, you will be able to remember me. And I'm not going to go into the technicalities of all this chakra and all. If you want, I have some notes somewhere written on the chakras, Shata chakras. Maybe I'll just post it on the WhatsApp group. You all can just read it as such. Okay. So we'll go to the next shloka. So the next shloka speaks about the requirements for the Sat Chakra, and what is the result of the Sat Chakra, what is the process of the Sat Chakra, and what will be the destination. So 11, 12, and 13, they speak about the Sat Chakra. Okay, so he says that यदक्षरं वेद विदो वदन्ति वशन्ति यद्यतयो वितरागः यजिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचार्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये. He says that persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So, Krishna is saying over here that you practice Sat Chakra Yoga. When he's saying that, when he's uttering, the Vedas or the Vedic hymns, and when he's chanting this Omkar, right? Such a person knowing this Vedas, he's not ignorant. And then he's saying that Vishanti, such a person will enter into where he will get his final destination. So, and he's saying, what is that way? Then Brahmacharya is the way. And Krishna is telling over here that one should practice Brahmacharya. And he's saying over here Brahmacharya. No? Practice Brahmacharya means celibacy. And while practicing Brahmacharya, one should chant this syllable Omkara, and he should know that Vedas, the Vedas, and he should be of the renounced order of life. And Krishna is saying that I'll explain you the process of yoga. So in the next two verses, Krishna will explain that what is his demand for the process of yoga, and we'll just check that out. Okay. So some of the demands are over here only, where he's saying that Vita Raga, firstly, he should be in the renounced order of life. Okay. And he should be free from attachment. And he should practice brahmacharya also. Okay. And he's saying that he should be knowing the Vedas also, Veda, right? And because he's knowing he knows the Vedas, he should be renounced also, Vita Raga also. And then he should chant what? he should chant this Omkara. Syllable Om. He should chant this Omkara. So, Krishna has told also in the previous verse that if one can do that, one can attain, the Prayankala, then one can attain Param Purusham. So, how can one be able to do this Pranayankal? He's saying that Yoga Balena. And how will Yoga Balena come? By the strength of practice and uh, and if you see in the next verses, Prabhupada will very much stress on the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So let's go to the next shloka. So he's saying that सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोरिधि निरुध्य च मूर्धान्य आत्मना प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणम्. He's saying that the yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagement. So another, one more thing he is expecting, that the yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements. Closing all the doors of the senses, closing your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head, your Brahmarandra that is there. Okay. One establishes himself in the yoga. Yoga Dharanam. Yoga Dharanam means what? That he is taking complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. And see, he is fixing his prana, the life air on the top of his head, right over here. So that if it goes from here, then he is going to the higher planetary systems. So he's saying over here that this is the process of Sat Chakra Yoga. The requirement for the Sat Chakra Yoga is renunciation and celibacy and knowledge of the Vedas and Brahmacharya and uttering. But then the process will be, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind and, detachment from all sensual engagements and all. This is what he's saying that because see, these senses are if you see they are like the doors for the consciousness to go out and for external objects to even come in, and then that's how they are affecting our consciousness. So then he's saying that you please close all the doors. Sarva dvarani samyamya. So you're controlling, you close all the doors, and once he has closed all those doors, okay, then what is he going to do is that he's going to actually control his mind. मनोरिधि, मन को जो है वो फिक्स करेगा, and one gets the mind to fix on his heart, because when you're fixing that mind on the heart, then he's able to see what is the difference between the mind and the heart. The heart, we can say that it is not like like a biological organ that is just pumping blood and no. Heart means only that it is a seat of emotions, and the seat of emotion is the soul. So fix the mind on the heart means I'm concentrating on the tattva of the soul, or I'm concentrating on the atma tattva. Okay. So wherever our mind is, there our thoughts are. You are where your mind is. They say no. Okay. So you fix the mind on the heart. That means that fix the mind on the innermost reality, that is Atma. That is, I am an Atma. I am actually connected to the Supreme Lord, and I should be thinking only about the Supreme Lord's pleasure and satisfying him. So then we get that prana. And in the head, then what happens is that uh, we are actually very much fixed. So Krishna is saying that this practice of yoga, okay, what I'm doing. So he's talking about pratyahara, sarvadharani samyamya, and yeah. So he's saying that he's talking about pratyahara means what? You just first restrain, and then there is dharana, then there is dhyan, then there is samadhi, and then it is progressing. So Krishna is talking about dharana. He's talking about yoga dharana. So one will prepare, to enter into that samadhi state by doing pratyahara, and then he's going to turn inwards. So first, we have to shut out all the senses Krishna is talking about. The external, physical, what do you say, doors or dwar, and then the inwards also doors you have to. He talks about manoridhi niruddhaya, cha murdhani. And then he's talking about keeping the mind on the heart, the soul, that is the Atma, and then the Atma Tattva. Then he will raise the prana to the Adhyatma, that is the spiritual. And then that means the head area. Till the head area he will. And then one becomes very much situated in yoga in this particular way. So all this yogic process is to actually move inwards. But currently we are moving in the opposite direction, and because we are moving in the opposite direction, we are frustrated. Like if you see even in the traffic rules, okay, agar if it is one way direction and you go in the other, what is going to happen? Accident is definitely going to happen. Sometimes, okay, bach bacha ke you can go, but uh, if I'm not moving inwards, and currently, from in to out ho raha hai, so then I'm going to get frustrated. But now our traffic direction should be moving more towards inwards. This is what he's saying in the 12th shloka. And then this 13th shloka is a very, very interesting shloka. So he's saying over here that, because he's saying that attaining Krishna is very easy. Why? Because you have to do only Kevala Bhakti. You don't have to do anything else, right? So, if you do all this, after that, what happens? So, Krishna is saying over here that Om iti eka aksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran yah prayati tyajyan deham sayati paramam gatim. Very wonderful this shloka is. He's saying that Om aksharam iti. Om means the combination of letters, Omkar. And he's saying that Om iti eka aksharam brahma. So Om is actually to be eka akshar, one syllable. If one chants that, then vyaharan means when somebody is, vibrating that, okay, vyaharan, and mam anusmarah. So mam anusmarah, so what has to be done? Krishna is saying that bhakta yukto, sorry, है ना? Bhaktya yukto is saying that when you are chanting, what has to be there? Bhakti should be there. And then this bhakti should be for whom? Then this bhakti should be for Krishna. And then one can chant this sound of Om, but along with that, one has to have a personal a personal relation with Krishna. Along with that, one has a personal connection with Krishna, and how he has to have that personal connection with Krishna by the process of bhakti. It has to be there, and along with this process of yoga. See, and if you see bhakti, bhakti means primarily um, fixing the mind on the Supreme Lord. Or bhakti means fixing the mind on Bhagavan. So he's saying, Mam Anusmaram. किसको रिमेम्बर करोगे? मुझे रिमेम्बर करोगे, है ना? And so Krishna has talked about remembering him. So see, even in the 5th shloka, he has spoken about remembering him. Antakale chamam evam smaranam muktva kalevaram. And he's talking about that also in the 5th verse. And then uh, uh, he has spoken about Antakale chamam evam, so that was the goal to fix the mind on him. And what is the way to fix the mind? So we can practice this whole process of this yoga and do this, yoga. And we get that pranam in the form where that we ultimately know that I have to actually do Mam Anusmara. I have to actually chant this syllable Om to attain the Supreme Lord. Then I have to practice Brahmacharya, and then I have to do all this. So all these things are there, they're fine, but one has to fix the mind. One has to remember Krishna. And then only what will happen? Anyone who leaves, then yah prayati tyajan deham. So anyone who's leaving this body, when one is leaving this body, then that person will attain the supreme destination. Sah yati paramam gatim. That person will attain this param gati. Right? So that ultimate destination, and that ultimate destination is param purusham divyam, right? He will attain that param purush, who is Krishna himself, and of course the goal will be there. And this will depend on if bhakti is the predominant element in his sadhana. Whether he will attain Vaikuntha. If bhakti is not prominent element, that person will attain Brahma Jyoti. But either way of attaining success, one needs to have this contemplation on the Lord. One needs to remember the Lord. And that is why Krishna is saying, Mam Anusmara. One should remember the Lord, and then only he'll be able to attain his final destination. So, now from the 14th shloka onwards, he's going to say that Krishna is going to give us the process of pure bhakti. How can you remember Krishna by pure bhakti? So he's saying in this 14th shloka, very wonderful shloka this is, 14, 15, 16. Very key shlokas these are. He's saying that Ananya cheta satatam yo ma smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. So he's saying over here that for one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain. मतलब इन हिंदी हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, हमें काम धाम क्या है? हमें काम धाम यही है कि हम भगवान का सिर्फ स्मरणम करते रहे. So he's saying that just give me 1 minute, okay? So he's saying that Ananya Chetaha. He's saying that when Ananya Cheta means what? That because previously he's saying that over here he's saying Ananya Cheta Satatam, without deviation of the mind, and means what? when I say Ananya Chetas Sadatam, means what? The consciousness will not go to other things or the other people. The consciousness will be fixed. And without the consciousness going anywhere, है ना, Satatam, constantly what I will do is, I will remember. And then he's saying, Yah Mam Smarati Nitya. That when one will remember Krishna constantly, then what will happen to such a person? Tasyaham sulabha. I am very easily obtainable by such a person. But उसके लिए मेहनत क्या करनी पड़ेगी? अनन्य चेता सततम. Without deviation, we will very swiftly he'll be able to attain me. And then Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. Yuktasya means one who is always or ever engaged. So here Krishna is telling that one who will remember him uh, with undeviated consciousness, and constantly he can obtain Krishna easily. So if you see in the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, this is one verse which uses this word sulabha. Sulabha means what? This process is very easy. No, no. Durlabha means very difficult. But here he's saying that the process is easy. So it is very important, because this verse by, you can say, there is no too much of interpretation. There is no stretch of interpretation. And because there is no khichatani, you can say over here. It's like, अरे बड़ा सुलभ है भक्ति तो. So that is why this shlok is directly pointing out to Bhakti Yoga. And he's saying that, Krishna is saying that Bhakti is the easiest way to attain him. सबसे आसान तरीका है. And so Sulabh, so if we see that in Yoga Mishra, Bhakta, Krishna has talked about, Yoga Mishra, section. And in the 10th shloka, he's saying that one has to practice brahmacharya, and he has to be free from attachment, and one has to know the Vedas, and he has to keep on chanting the Omkar mantra and all. So in the previous shlokas, where, the 11th, 12th, and the 13th, where Krishna is elaborately, saying about Ashtanga Yoga, about the Sat Chakra Yogas, where this Ashtanga Yogi, he is uh, passing from one grade to another, okay, and where and in this way he has to practice very seriously his spiritual life. He has to be renounced, and so here Krishna is saying that, oh, it is very sulabh. And what is he saying? That what he has to do? A person has to only remember him. So if you see this whole chapter, Krishna has talked about Ashtanga Yoga, how one can remember him at the time of death, and how one can attain him as the goal, and how he is only the Param Purusham. So ultimately, uh, the it is Krishna who is the object. And Krishna is saying that I can be attained, I can be easily attained, means that whatever is the result which is obtained by Ashtanga Yoga, that can also be attained by the practice of Bhakti Yoga. Because if you see undeviating, undistracting, these things we can also do within Bhakti Yoga also. So when Krishna talks about this, what he is saying, that what is the, what does it imply, or it implicates that bhakti is very much, how can I put it? Bhakti is far preferable to Ashtanga Yoga, then, because Ashtanga Yoga is too demanding. It is too grilling also, right? And by Bhakti Yoga, you can move faster, much easier towards the spiritual path. So when Krishna is talking about Bhakti Yoga, he is saying that Bhakti Yoga is easier than Ashtanga Yoga. And so Prabhupada also uses, that Ashtanga Yoga is not very practical. And that is why one person should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and he should follow actually Bhakti Yoga. And many actually, if you see, uh, hmm, those who criticize Srila Prabhupada's commentary, they say that, Krishna never rejected this path of Ashtanga Yoga. And, although this, Srila Prabhupada gives the impression that Krishna is rejecting the process of Ashtanga Yoga, or Gita is rejecting the path of Ashtanga Yoga. And Krishna does not do that. And Krishna tells that Arjuna that it is very difficult, but if you practice, you will succeed. And you have to control the mind if you fix it. But Prabhupada is not representing the Gita properly, they say. When he says that the Gita is rejecting the path of, this. But see, Prabhupada's strategy is that uh, he gives because what is the conclusion of the Gita? Throughout the Gita, that at the end, Krishna is going to say that Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papevi Moksheshami Masuja. So Krishna says that give up all that varieties of religion and you just surrender to me. If you surrender to me, then whatever is sinful reactions that you have or you may get because of having, given up all the other duties, because of abandoning your other responsibilities, because you have not, followed any other path, Ashtang Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, then whatever sinful reactions, I will take care of them. Ma sucha, daro nahi. Don't worry. So Krishna over here is actually very systematically rejecting all the other paths. Parityajya, very few words where, Krishna is going to just say that, you just give it up. When Krishna is saying that, Sarva Dharma Parityajya, you just give it up. So, all the other paths, he's saying that, please give it up. And then what you do? You make bhakti as pradhanya. Only keval bhakti as you make it as prominent. And that is what Prabhupada is doing throughout the Bhagavad Gita. In all his purports, if you see, Prabhupada is giving only keval bhakti. His compassion that he wants us that we don't miss the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, that we understand that conclusion very properly. We, advance properly towards that particular goal, and he's giving this conclusion throughout in his purports. And Prabhupada, if you see, uh, because see, when you say that bhakti versus the other paths, so all these practitioners of karma yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga, they have some bhakti added to their own self-interests. But pure bhakti, is selfless. And pure bhakti will not desire anything but Krishna's service. That is Nishkam, right? And therefore, we can attain Krishna very easily. It is very sulabha, very easy to attain Krishna. And then if you see Krishna saying that um, mm, when he's saying that, Sarva Dharma Pritijya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So there he's saying that reject, when you reject all those other paths, right? And you are coming to that conclusion that I have to only surrender to Krishna. I have to only follow this particular path of Shuddha Bhakti, right? So, but Arjuna is saying that, oh, this is, very difficult. How will I do it? Uh, and how will it be possible for me? So Krishna says that yes, it is difficult, but by steady practice, abhyasa yogena, what you will be doing, you will move forward. And Krishna very much says that abhyas and vairagya. Abhyas means steady practice, and vairagya means detachment. So he says that you follow this process, okay, and then you control the mind, and then you will attain success. And the important part is that you control the mind, and it is difficult, but it is very important also. So that is why if you see that even in the sixth chapter, Krishna is rejecting, okay, the path of yoga, and but there are many people who think that, or even including Arjuna, I think Ashtanga yoga is very difficult. And Krishna also says, but though Ashtanga yoga is difficult, but then from the seventh chapter onwards, Krishna is introducing the path of bhakti yoga. And then uh, if you see seventh and eighth chapter mein compare and contrast ho raha hai between Ashtanga yoga and bhakti yoga. He says that is why bhakti yoga is easy, and easy to follow, because controlling the mind is very difficult. But if I study this, uh, Krishna is saying that if you do mam anusmara, mam smaranti nitya saha, if you remember me, okay, then it is sulabha. It is very easy. When you fix your mind on me, then you can attain me very easily. So Krishna is saying that this is the path of bhakti yoga, which is very easy to attain. And this path, you will get success also. And when you fix your mind on Krishna constantly. So ultimately, if you see any of these spiritual paths, okay, whether it be Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Hatha Yoga and all, they are not very easy, because if something material also is requiring the effort, then everything material we achieve is also temporary. Because, for example, somebody is working even 9 to 5, he also has to work hard, right, to get a salary. He gets a paycheck only on after he works for 30 days. So even in the material world, we see that nothing is very easy to achieve. But our pay package or salaries will be temporary. They come and they go, right? As soon as the salary comes, you see all deductions happening. Then when everything material achieve, and whatever I'm achieving is temporary, then what is going to give me that eternal result or the permanent result? Though we can't expect that to come very easily, which is permanent. It will require some endeavors, it will require some efforts, and no doubt that endeavor will be there. But the easier part is actually bhakti yoga, because the mind gets positive engagement right from the beginning. If you see, and why bhakti is the highest? Because highest and the best, you can say. Bhakti is the highest and the best, because from the beginning of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam and all, everything that we are seeing, right? It is giving us, that highest consciousness level. Our, our buddhi is being, turned in that way, that it is giving me the highest Vraja Prema. And it is giving me the highest and the best. But when you are withdrawing your mind from the negative, then afterwards, when you try to probe, then you get that positive reality. So पहले negative thoughts निकालने हैं and then positive reality डालनी है. They focus the mind and then you bring your mind back again and again, and you focus your mind again on Krishna. And when you're taking that mind away from this negative, which is, very agitative and, which is actually giving you all wrong instructions. Abhi idhar ja, udhar ja, ye kar, wo kar. So many temptations are there into our mind. And we are far away from, that, fulfilling that higher reality to fix the mind. And the whole process, when you fix the mind on Krishna, becomes so easier. So, for example, if someone will tell that, see, please do not think about the monkey, or you can say, don't think about the blue monkey, okay? He has a red tail. Now, we would never ever thought about, a blue monkey with a red tail. But when someone will tell like this, immediately the mind will draw a nice picture of a blue monkey, and, it has a red tail. So this nature of this mind is that whatever is told to do, we will not do that. Sorry, we will say that don't do this. So we will say, no, we will do it. So when we say don't think of this and don't think of that, but then we'll say, no, 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 thoda to sochne do, thoda to sochne do. Like, so it is not absorbed in positive thoughts. It is not moving towards positivity. And that is why, if you see that we have to fix our mind on Krishna. And if we cannot fix our mind on Krishna, have a nice, beautiful picture of Krishna, and you fix the mind while chanting on Krishna, and the Lord will definitely help such devotees. Right? Why will the Lord not help such devotees? Now, if you see that in the Katha Upanishad, he is saying that Yam evaise runute tena labhyas tasya atma vivrunute tanum swam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. Fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service. These are the two aspects that is actually required. And then what will happen then? Dadami Buddhi Yogam. If somebody is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service, then Krishna says that I give them the intelligence so that he can ultimately attain to the spiritual kingdom. So, this is what he is saying. That so he's saying that this tasya yesa atma. He's saying that that person who understands the spiritual reality, and then what happens? Krishna is selecting such a person. So whom does Krishna select? That who understands that spiritual reality. He explains in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is not partial. Krishna is never partial. Krishna is reciprocal. So, and he is reciprocal to everybody. It's not like that it is reciprocal only. If I'm approaching Krishna with devotion, that we understand that, okay, he's the supreme person, and then he will reciprocate as the supreme person. So then he will reciprocate as the supreme person to us. And that is why Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, ye yatha ma prapadyante, in the 4th chapter, he says. And then that is why he's saying that dadami buddhi yogam, because he's reciprocal, he is giving the intelligence via which we can come to him. So Krishna helps us. So how this is, the first point is that, if I fix the mind on Krishna, and then, if I withdraw the mind from this material reality, and because bhakti is very easy, then Krishna is helping me to make spiritual advancement. Krishna gives his mercy. Krishna gives that intelligence from within, by which we can fix our mind on our mind and concentration on Krishna. And and somebody says that, Krishna says that first we have to serve him affectionately, bhajatam priti purvakam, and then he will give us the dadami buddhi yogam. So, what about when we don't have affection? So actually, see, we all have some affection, little affection everybody has. It's not like that we don't have that affection, right? And so that affection, so it is not only that only for pure devotees Krishna will give this dadami buddhi yogam. Krishna gives from everybody, but it is depending how much affection and how much is our intention there to serve Krishna. So proportionately, he will give us that intelligence. To the degree I want to serve Krishna, my intention is to serve Krishna. To that degree, Krishna will give me sufficient intelligence. So Prabhupada is saying that very much again and again he's saying that when one uh, uh, when one devotes, or when one becomes a devotee, and he becomes intelligent enough to spread Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada says that, if somebody is very much uh, that intention to serve Krishna and to please Krishna, then Krishna is going to appreciate that, and he's going to give that intelligence to that devotee. So Srila Prabhupada is also appreciating actually that. And he says that many times if you see Prabhupada is saying that you're sincerely trying to serve Krishna, and Krishna will give you the intelligence to spread this Krishna conscious movement, and to share this Krishna conscious movement. So Prabhupada says that, Krishna is giving you the Dami Buddhi Yogam. And so Krishna can give us guidance, and uh, Krishna can give, in fact, that guidance to anybody who has that intention to remember Krishna and has whatever little affection. With that intention and that affection, when we try to serve Krishna, he will definitely reciprocate. And that is why any devotee who is thinking about Krishna every time, he creates a holy place wherever he goes. So, where if you see, so some say that the devotee should remain in holy place Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived, but a pure devotee can live anywhere because and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by devotional service. So, what does this mean? That he's saying that the essence of Vrindavan is a remembrance of Krishna. And with Lord himself present, then one can remember him very easily. So the devotee can invoke Krishna's presence by remembering him everywhere, and can remember Krishna anywhere and everywhere. Therefore, it is not necessary that this particular person is limited to a particular place. I'm not limited to Vrindavan. I'm not limited to Mayapur or a secluded place or a jungle. No. I can remember Krishna anywhere and everywhere. And in and I can remember Krishna in any rasa. Vatsala ras, Shanti ras, Dasi ras, Sakya ras, any ras. But the essential point Krishna is saying over here is that a pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. And similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the greatest blessing of Krishna conscious process of chanting the Maha Mantra. I am remembering Krishna, Krishna is also remembering me. मैं भगवान का चिंतन कर रहा हूँ, भगवान भी मेरा Chintan kara. So here Krishna is establishing how remembering him through the process of bhakti yoga is actually very easy, and it should be preferred as such. Like so, just give me 1 minute. This is the yeah. Then he's saying that ahead. He's saying that uh, there is no pure, there is no rebirth for my pure devotees. He's saying, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gatam. This 8.15 shloka is very important in terms that after attaining, is it the result? Attaining Krishna is very easy by only Keval Bhakti. So if somebody is attained Krishna, okay, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world. Dukkhalem ashashvatam, this temporary world is, which is full of miseries. So firstly, this bhautik jagat is dukkhalem, है ना, दुखों से भरा, and ashashvatam, which is temporary, because they have attained the highest perfection. Napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam. They have attained the highest perfection. Some siddhis, puri siddhi attain kar li hai, and that is why they will never come back to this temporary material world, which is full of miseries as such. So if you see that uh, uh, this is very famous, where Prabhupada is often quoting that, Dukkhalem ashashvatam. Okay. And this world is, temporary place of misery. And if you see the spiritual world is permanent and fully happy, right? There are no misery. There is no birth, death, old age, and diseases in the spiritual world. And the spiritual world is permanent. It is not temporary. So, it is not, many times, many Bollywood movies also, then they lived happily year after. So, actually, happily ever after is only in the spiritual world. Happily ever after is never in this material world. This material world is the characteristic of this material world, or the fact of this material world only, it is temporary and it is full of misery. So Krishna is saying that dukkhalem ashashvatam. It is not happy and it is ashashvatam. There is no ever after in this world. Nobody can live permanently. So Krishna is not making, saying that this world is dukkhalem. He's saying that it is like a passing fact, that this dukkhalem is, but then he is again saying that if you worship me with devotion, then you don't have to come to this material world. Those who worship me, they don't have to take a rebirth. Punarjanma na vidyate. Punarjanma na vidyate. Where he's saying that you don't have to take another birth again. This is what he's saying over here, right? And then he's saying that they don't have to take birth again, तो है ही, but then कहाँ आएंगे? They will come back to me. They will attain my supreme destination. Param gati. Param gati मतलब supreme destination. So, if you see that those who are, those who say, or those who understand that, see, Krishna is only all in all. And I have to worship only, like, even in the 7th shloka, he says that Vasudeva Sarvati. Bahunama Janmanamante Gyanavanva Prabhudate Samatma Vasu. Bahunama Janmanamante Gyanavanva Prabhudyante
Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha.
So he says that these souls are great. Those who are Mahatma, who's a Mahatma. And these Mahatmas, Sa Durlabha, they are very rare. And so over there also he is referring to devotees, and over here also he is referring to devotees only. Mahatma, the great souls. He's saying over here that these great devotees, because ma prapadyante, mam, what they are surrendering to, they are surrendering to me, and they are surrendering to that bhakti. So Mahatmas, those devotees who surrender exclusively only to Krishna, and so even if you see again in the 9th chapter also, Krishna will use this Mahatmanas. He say Mahatmanas tu mampartha devim prakritim ashritah. So those who are worshipping me with those who are worshipping me wholeheartedly, knowing that okay, I am only to be worshipped, I am only everything, I am only Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So this Mahatma, Krishna is focusing only on this. And so Napno Vanti Mahatmano. So actually, that is the ultimate reality that they are actually surrendering to, and there is no other reality beyond this. So Mahatmas are those people who understand that Krishna is the ultimate reality. Nothing else is the reality. बाकी सब कुछ जो है वो मेरे कनेक्शन में है ही नहीं. See, many times now, sometimes we hear about some person, okay, ऐसे हुआ वैसे हुआ and all, but we don't pay much heed, okay, because he's not connected to me. Okay, I've just got some news about this particular person. Okay, like in the news you get, okay, such a person was shot dead and all. We don't take much heed to that, because for us we have never seen him also, and we have no connection with that person. But over here we are connected to Krishna, and we are permanently connected to Krishna. For us, Krishna is our everything. Father, mother, brother, sister, lover, well-wisher, friend. He's all in all, and that is why he's the ultimate reality for us, and there is no other reality other than him. So now, when we talk about this Param Gata, what is the Param Gata? Krishna will say that Param Gata is like his supreme abode. Param Gati is the spiritual atmosphere, the spiritual goal as such. And we know that this, uh, this goal that is there, that Param Gati that is there, is actually Golok Vrindavan. And in the Brahma Samhita is elaborately described about the Golok Vrindavan. So those who are worshipping Krishna, they don't have to come back to this world again. Okay, they will go back to him and they will attain Golok Vrindavan. Okay, that is their supreme destination. And Krishna is saying that, see, Krishna is saying even in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where he says that Janma karma chame divyam evam yoviti tyaktata tyakta deham punarjanma neti mameti. So Arjuna, those who understand my transcendental nature and my activities, what happens? Janma karma cha de me divyam. Those who understand my activities, not neti mameti. So Arjuna, those who understand this truth, they will never come back over here. Those who are worshipping, mam upetya punarjanma. So when they attain that supreme destination, they will never come back to this temporary material world. What will be their destination? Their destination will be Golok Vrindavan only. And this is what he's trying to say in this shloka. So we'll move to the next shloka, the last shloka. After this, I'll conclude with this shloka. Okay, the next shloka is also a little good. And Krishna is comparing all the other planets to his own abode. है ना? कभी कभी हम लोग भी compare करते हैं ना कि my son is the best. than others, or my child is the best. So Krishna is saying that there is rebirth in all the other planets, but if somebody reaches my abode, then there is no rebirth for him. So he says that A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avnita Arjuna Mam Upatyatu Kaunteya Punar Janmana Vidyate. He says that from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest planet are all places of misery. किधर भी जाओ, स्वर्ग लोक, जनलोक, तपलोक, महारलोक, ब्रह्मलोक, कहीं पे भी जाओ, these are all places of misery, and there is repeated birth and death over there in those planets. Okay. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. जो मेरे धाम आएगा उसको पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते, वो पुनर्जन्म नहीं लेगा. He is not going to take a rebirth again. See how boldly Krishna is declaring with great confidence. So these are Krishna's golden words. And when we are when we are reciting these shlokas, and we are reciting or we are translating, actually we are associating with Krishna himself. Krishna ki Vani mein aur Krishna mein koi antar nahi hai. There is no difference between Krishna's Vani and Krishna himself. So he's saying over here that A Brahma Bhuvanat Loka, from the topmost planetary system to the lowest, and right even to Brahmaloka also, till Brahmaloka. So this Brahmaloka is actually जहां पे ब्रह्मलोका खत्म होता है, where Brahmaloka ends and actually Vaikuntha Loka starts, that line that is there, that line of control जो बोलते हैं ना, LOC line, that is actually the Brahma Jyoti. वहां से actually that Brahma Jyoti is there, and then above the Brahma Jyoti is the Vaikuntha Loka, and above the Vaikuntha Loka is the Golok Vrindavan. So he's saying that right up to that planet of Brahmaji, one may go, but what will happen? Punar Avrito Arjuna, one has to come back again. But if somebody comes to Mam Upete tu Konte, but if one worships Krishna, then what will happen? Punar Janma na Vidyate. Then Krishna is giving two paths with two destinations. In the material world, the highest destination is Brahmaloka. If someone gets that best result apart from bhakti, then they can go to Brahmaloka. But even, Brahmaloka is temporary. Therefore, that Brahmaloka will also not give an eternal result. So if one is worshipping Krishna, he will get an eternal result. He will get a permanent result. उसके बाद उसको कभी दुख नहीं भोगना पड़ेगा. वो हमेशा जिस एटीट्यूड के साथ जा रहा है कृष्ण लोक में, he will be happy only. Why? Because his happiness is connected to Krishna's happiness. If his happiness is to please Krishna, then Krishna's happiness is to please his devotee. And then there is, a competition between the devotee and Krishna. Devotee is trying to please Krishna 10%, Krishna is trying to please the devotee 20%. Devotee is trying to please Krishna 40%, Krishna is trying to please the devotee 80%. There is a big, in Hindi usko kehte hoda hodi chal rahi hai, competition. There's a tug of war between, the devotee and Krishna. So now, if my happiness lies in only pleasing Krishna, then I am straight to the spiritual world. But abhi meri happiness kya hai? My happiness is in the material world. My happiness is to give happiness to this person and that person. My happiness is not focused only to give happiness to Krishna. My happiness is to give happiness to something that is temporary. My happiness is not to give happiness something that is very permanent. So when Brahmaji is leaving this body, that time also his abode vanishes. And the universe is also destroyed. So Prabhupada, he's saying that, in the purport, he's saying that one can attain Brahmaloka because, but because Brahmaloka is also temporary, one cannot be there for a very long time. Okay. Indralok, Chandralok, he's talking about, Panchangni Vidya. Okay. So that is also not very permanent. And he's saying that so he's actually quoting from this commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan. Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte prati sanchare parasyante kritatmanah pravishyanti parampadam. So when there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees who constantly engage in Krishna are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desire. So he's saying that ब्रह्मणा सहते सर्वे, ब्रह्मा के साथ जो है सब लोग, with along with Brahma, all his associates, what happens if those who are engaged, then they actually attain the supreme destination of the supreme abode. So the point over here is that in some cases, if Brahma ji is a pure devotee, okay, and the associates of Brahma, they also become pure devotees. Okay. So pure devotees means what? Pure enough to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay. So that's how, like, then at the time of destruction, then they all don't have to come back again over here. Then they actually ऊपर से ऊपर ही, then another सीढ़ी चढ़ के, then they go back home, back to Godhead, and they are transferred to the spiritual world. So now they say that Brahma and his associates, if they practice Krishna consciousness or bhakti, then they go to the spiritual world. And but Brahmaji and these heavenly planets, they are not primarily places of bhakti. From the planet of Earth, if you go to, Swarglok, Janalok, Tapalok, these are not planets of bhakti. They are planets of punya. So punya and bhakti are not the same. Sometimes they say, अरे मैं भक्ति करूंगा मुझे पुण्य मिलेगा, मैं भक्ति करूंगा मुझे पुण्य मिलेगा. No, they are not the same. Why? Because those who are accumulating pious activities or punya, then they go to Swargaloka. And these Swargavasis also, they also do yagya. Okay. And they live a very nice life over there. And, they actually, are floating in the, material, this drinking somras and all that, for being Amar and all that. But even if how much ever somras they live, they have to actually quit their bodies ultimately when the time comes. So, but these Swargavasis, they are again not living in bhakti. They are living only with punya. Punya ki wajah se wo log ji rahe hain. Because if you see in Swargaloka, this Indra, in the Lord Indra, he's, watching these apsaras dancing, he's enjoying. So that is not bhakti. That is bhoga. But that bhoga is not considered sinful because he has done some punya, and after doing that punya on earth, he has attained those things on the heaven. So for Indra, that is a rightful enjoyment. So he is getting what is the result of his, past punya. And generally these residents of these heaven, they don't perform, Shuddha Bhakti or normal Bhakti also. Exactly, not even, because too much of enjoyment is available over there. So how can somebody do, Shuddha Bhakti? Because see, when we are doing japa in the morning, okay, and a big feast of, pulao, pakoda, puri and paratha and paneer sabji is bought, and then and we are told, okay, now chant 16 rounds. Is it possible that we can chant 16 rounds? That we won't be able to. So the rule would be that, okay, what you do is that you take you take that plate and put it aside where it is not visible to your eyes. And because you have to keep looking at the plate, if it is in front of you. And then you can chant attentively. So our situation will be that, we'll not be attentive in chanting, है ना? And we will actually, what do you say? That we will be attentive, uh, uh, not to chanting, but to the food that is there, if it is in front of us. And then once it is taken away, then we can focus, we can chant. And then later on, we can actually, after remembering Krishna, we can take that Chappan Bhog, how much ever we want to take. So the example why I'm giving over here is that when something is in front of us, it will be too difficult for us to do bhakti. So for Indra and all these heavenly people, when something, something like this is brought in front of them, it is very difficult. It is not. So something has to be kept aside, and when there is too much of pleasure, how it is possible to remember Krishna. So in the heavenly world, they may not do any pap, but doing Shuddha Bhakti will be very difficult for those people. Shuddha Bhakti will be difficult, and but if they do Shuddha Bhakti, then definitely they will be elevated from there. So if somebody wants to, practice serious devotional service, then he can practice, but why not practice on the earth? Why to go to the heavenly planet and then practice, which is too much of, so many allurements are there, so many distractions are there in the heavenly planet. So practicing on the earth planet is more easy. And then that is why if you practice on the earth, it is little more easier, because sometimes somebody is affected by money, relationships, and all these things. And when he does not have these things, then he thinks that, no, let me search for a better option. And that's how uh, when you practice something which is directly going back home, back to Godhead, then that will make some sense over here. And that is why Prabhupada is actually suggesting over here that those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are transferred to the spiritual platform. So what I'll do is I'll rest my speech over here. If somebody has any questions, because the next section will start from 17 to 22. I'll try to finish, because we have 28 slokas, we'll try to finish it in the next section. Because the next section is a bit interesting. Spiritual world versus material world. And spiritual world, if we hear, is full of variety. Full of variety. And there is only happiness in the spiritual world. So next section, we will discuss about the spiritual and the material world. Anybody has any questions over here?
Hi Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Ajay.
Mataji, this Sat Chakra Yoga, this Krishna teaches, this is different from the 6th chapter of the Dhyana Yoga. Those are just yogis, right? Here it is, here these are yoga mishra bhakti, means they have bhakti also, but it's mixed with yoga.
Yes.
That's why for that Sat Chakra to attain Krishna.
Yes. Absolutely.
And they cannot directly take up Bhakti Yoga, Mataji. The Yoga Mishra Bhaktis that have been mentioned here.
For that, they have to have the mercy of the devotee. When the mercy of the devotee will flow, then from that stage, they will take up to Shuddha Bhakti. But till the time there is no intervention of the pure devotee, these people have no hope. See, what hope also we also had. Now we came in contact with devotees, then we came in contact with our, spiritual master who is a pure devotee. And that is why we have some hope right? To go, if not in this birth, at least in the next, if not in the next, in the next, but at least we are on that path of going back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 40th shloka, that even if I have left it incomplete, I can complete it in the next. If not in the next, in the next. So there is no loss. Over there, they'll have to restart again everything. Even if this Yoga Mishra Bhakta, he leaves his body, he'll have to restart everything again. For us, we don't have to restart it again. That is the assurance Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, Mataji. Mataji, you use some terms in between. I could not write it. Something bhuta, bhuta, something in between. Somebody attains to Brahma Jyoti. What are those, Mataji?
Do you have the Gita Subodhini with you?
Yes, Mataji, I do have.
Yeah, so in the Gita Subodhini, I will put it, actually, it is from there. I have taken it from there only. This is, I think, in the 9th chapter. Give me 1 minute, okay? Is it in the 9th chapter or it's in the 12th chapter? Give me a second. The elaborate explanation is given over there. And I think I have it somewhere in my other notes also. Ye na keval bhakti, pradhani bhuta bhakti, guni bhuta bhakti na. I will post it on the WhatsApp group. I think it's in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chapter only. Yeah, it's the 12th chapter. So, Shuddha Bhakti ke baare mein bata rahe hai.
So those things comes under Kevala Bhakti, that words you mentioned.
No, when I'm saying Kevala Bhakti means only Shuddha Bhakti. When I'm saying
Shuddha Bhakti.
Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, so Bhakti for me is Pradhan, means primary. And then yoga, karma, and all these things are secondary. When I say Guni Bhuta Bhakti, then yoga, karma, and all, they are primary for me, and Bhakti is secondary for me. But when I say Keval Bhakti means what? Bhakti is only all in all for me. Pradhani also and Guni means secondary also. Primary also for me Bhakti. Secondary also for me is Bhakti, and that is only Keval Bhakti. So these three things are there, वो मैं post करती हूँ. You will understand it more better actually. I have somewhere it in my computer. मैं आपको वो भेजती हूँ WhatsApp group पे.
So we should strive for Kevala Bhakti only.
We should strive only for Keval Bhakti, where Bhakti is primarily also and secondary also. And Bhakti is only all in all for us. Baki, we don't want karma, gyan, ashtang, hatta. We don't want anything of these. We want to very selflessly serve Krishna and please Krishna. This is Vrindavan consciousness. Vrindavan consciousness means only wherever you are, you want to please Krishna. आपका वही उद्देश्य है. My existence is only मेरा अस्तित्व या my existence is only to please Krishna. That's it. That is.
Thank you, Mataji.
Somebody else has any queries, questions, doubts?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Bhartasati Prabhu.
Mataji, this is regarding the what we differentiated between the meditation and the bhakti, what we are doing. But meditation can means you described it as it is a relaxed and cool. So that can help us in the bhakti, no?
See, that meditation है ना, क्या होता है? That उद्देश्य, the what do you say? The motive is different. Okay.
Okay.
For us, our meditation is on Krishna, because see, when you are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it is very much obvious that you will have a form on which you are meditating on. Right? The three bent form of the Sham Sundar form of Krishna.
Yeah.
But the others who are meditating, they don't know only on what object to meditate on. They are meditating on Shunya. And they are thinking that I should get some relaxation with meditation. But ultimately, they are frustrated only. But for us, when we do meditation in the morning, we don't get frustrated. Our whole day goes very good. Why? Because we have formed a kavach around us when we are meditating. That is the protection kavach from Krishna, that anything unwanted will rebound and go back. This is
Okay.
the importance of our chanting and meditation that we are doing in the morning for 2 hours, that we are meditating, if not selflessly, but we know one day selflessly I have to meditate and I have to please Krishna. And we are meditating for the pleasure of Krishna. We are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to please Krishna. We are not, initially हमारा उद्देश्य होगा कि हाँ मेरा मन शांत हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, but eventually we keep on practicing. We know that Krishna loves his name more than what even I'm chanting. Krishna is dancing on the tip of my tongue, and he's so happily and jubilantly, dancing on the tip of my tongue. Let me give him more, enjoyment or happiness by my daily chanting. So that is the difference between when others are chanting and we are actually, meditating, and that way, like Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother. Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions, queries, doubts as such? Okay, if so nobody has any questions, we'll just halt for the day. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Hare Krishna. We'll meet next Saturday.
Krishna.